What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for stopping back by. I have 5 rod and reel setups behind me and these are my top 5 setups I would be taking as a co-angler right now. Anyhow, stay tuned. I'm going to show you each and every one of them. Alright everyone, so the very first thing I'm going to say, I have 5 setups right here beside me. 2 of them are spinning, 3 of them are casting. The reason why, the lakes that I fish living in West Virginia, I fish Virginia, Carolina lakes, occasionally in the Tennessee and Ohio lakes. I feel like I can get away with power fishing most of the time, but I'm gonna take 1 to 2 spinning setups just in case. So the very first thing I'm gonna show you is my very first spinning setup. First thing I wanna tell you is this is a Berkley Lightning Rod Shock 7-foot medium heavy rod. And I have on here right now a Ned rig, but this would be my rod to do multiple things. This would be my multi-purpose spinning setup. I have a Lew's Speed Stick spinning reel on here as well. And you'll see the yellow line. I usually do a 10 to 20 pound braid and then a fluoro leader. So this is my personal preference. It's not a have-to thing, but more sensitivity. That's why I do that. But on this setup, I can do so many different things. One, I can go finesse like a Ned rig, like a drop shot. That's usually how I have this one rigged up, honestly. Small swim baits, maybe some finesse crankbaits. I usually don't do that, but I do have a couple that I would have to throw on a spinning because they're just so light. And a spinning rod, the reason you do that, 2 things. One, you can get it way, way out there. You can't cast that far with a casting setup if it's a really light crankbait. And 2, you're going to naturally reel slower and you have better drag so you don't rip the hook out of its mouth. I'm sure there's like 8 more reasons. That's just the top 2 reasons for me. But that's my first setup. It's a multi-purpose spinning setup. I can go extremely finesse. I can go finesse crankbaits, a lot of finesse presentations with this setup. Anyhow, let me show you number 2. All right, everyone, this is my number 2 spinning setup I'm gonna take with me. This is my most used spinning setup. I actually have 2 of them just like this. One of them's behind me. Didn't make the cut because I wanted to show you that other one I just showed you. But these are my favorite rods for spinning, and it's upsetting to me because they're discontinued, so I'm trying to just use them as much as I can until they're gone, and then I'll have to find a replacement. But if I find a replacement, it's going to be the closest thing to this rod that I can find. This is a McCain Wacky Plastics rod, and McCain's discontinued. Just to give you an idea of what type of money we're talking about, this is a $200 rod. I was on their pro staff, had an really extreme discount, so I didn't pay $200 for it. But just to show you how nice this rod is, that's just the average ballpark of this one right here. This is my shaky head. This is my wacky rig setup. Right now I have a shaky head on it. The sensitivity that this rod does for me is why I'm only going to throw a wacky rig, a shaky head. I'd even throw a Ned rig on it. But it's always going to be some type of finesse worm or finesse crawl presentation. I could see myself in the spawn maybe using this one to throw a little white crawl on the bed if I really needed to, even though I'm probably going to do it with another rod. But just to give you an example, this rod right here is going to have the Pflueger reel on it, and then also I have that 10 to 20 pound braid, yellow braid into a fluoro, 10 pound fluoro. But this is my favorite spinning setup. If I had to eliminate the one I showed you already and take only one, it's going to be this one. But if I can get away with taking 2 spinning setups, that's my 2. All right, everyone, so my next one I want to show you, my 3rd one, and first I'm going to say it's actually a specific style of rod, but I don't use it specifically for that. It is a Bass Pro crank and stick rod. If you can kind of read there. And what I have on there right now is a little Berkley Dredger 6.5, and I have a Lew's BB1 speed spool casting reel with it. Really good reel for crankbaits, by the way. Look into it if you're looking for a crankbait style reel. But what I like about this rod is it's 7 foot. I can still do a lot of things with it. I don't have to just throw crankbaits. I can throw up to like a DT16, maybe a 5XD. Anything heavier or anything goes deeper than that, I'd probably go to another rod that I wouldn't even take with me. But the biggest thing I like about it, I can throw the crankbaits, I can throw spinnerbait, I can throw a chatterbait, a jerkbait, because it has that parabolic bend in it, the way it's made, I can get away with a lot. Now, it's not my first choice for some of those options, but I can do it. My first choice is always going to be a crankbait like this or a square bill. But this one's going to make the cut for the lakes that I'm fishing primarily. One, crankbaits are ruling the earth right now on the lakes I'm fishing. 2, I don't throw a crankbait enough. If I take this with me, it's going to make me throw it a little bit more. Might just luck into a big one day. Anyhow, that's going to make the cut. It's number 3. Let me show you the next one. All right, everyone, so for the next rod and reel setup I want to show you is really more of a multi-purpose style setup. This is a 610 loose rod that I actually got for entering early to the Big Bass Tour tournaments. But it's 610, medium heavy, fast taper. It can really be used for so many things. I can use this to be target casting jigs, like skipping a jig under a dock or under a bunch of trees. I can use this for what you have on right now, a homemade spinnerbait. I made that myself, by the way. Homemade spinnerbait is on there right now. That will be my first choice. A jerkbait, because a loose rod is so much lighter and thinner than a lot of other companies. A jerkbait is really good for this rod because the way this rod is, it's not going to overpower that jerkbait. I could potentially throw some crankbaits on it, but I already showed you I take a crankbait rod. If I found a really good crankbait bite, I could potentially do that though. And then I have a Lew's LFS speed stool on there. It's $99.99. It's my favorite Lew's reel they make. But this rod's really nice. The main purpose I'm showing you this rod is because it's multi-purpose, 610. I can do a lot of things with it. It's not specific like the last one I showed you. So this rod's going to make the cut for me. I might not throw something like a Carolina rig or an Alabama rig on this rod because it's not heavy enough for that. But anything shallow water, power fishing, this one's probably going to handle it. And it's also a really good rod for topwater. I could walk a bait, throw popper, frog. Would throw a frog in a lot of vegetation, but if I wanted to skip a frog in some docks and stuff, I could get away with it with this rod. Anyhow, 610 Lew's Big Bass Tour rod, LFS speed spool. That's number 4. Let me show you my very last pick that I would be taking with me as a co-angler today. That's going to round out my top 5, and I think you're going to like it. All right, everyone, it's my 5th and final rod and reel I'm going to show you that I'm going to take with me. And Whitney just walked in, so if you see her or hear some noise, that's probably all it is. But this is a 7.4 medium heavy fast taper rod. It's a Johnny Morris Platinum Signature. And I have a Lew's LFS $99 reel. I love that reel, my favorite reel, paired on that. Right now I have a jig tied on, and this is my jig rod, but just wanted to show you, because I'm kind of happy about it, I hand tied this jig this week, if you can kind of see it there. But really excited about it and can't wait to use it. I'm actually going fishing tomorrow, so I might be able to put it to use. But that's going to be my final pick. And the reason I'm going to pick that one is because that one can handle some heavier applications. A heavier jig, football jigs, Carolina rigs, Alabama rigs even, some spoons. And some of my other setups I showed you won't handle those because they're just going to be overpowered. They're going to be overpowered by the weight of the bait. Whereas that one's not going to be. It's going to be perfect for them heavier applications if you saw a need for that. Now, with that being said, even though it's made for heavier, it's so light that I can target cast a spinnerbait still, even though it's 7.4. But primarily, I'm gonna throw something heavier. I might throw a heavier spinnerbait, slow rolled on the bottom even. It's gonna be used for stuff like that more than what my other rods are used for. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I brought some value to you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see more. I have 2 different videos coming out in the next couple of weeks that you're gonna probably like. One of them's gonna be showing you my boat again. I'll put in the description right here or here, one of these sides of the boat where I bought it. I did a little filming of it. If you want to see the boat that I use and how I use it, I'm going to redo that video, show you some things I like, don't like about it. And then, like I said, tomorrow I'm going fishing. I'm not fishing for a tournament, I'm not practicing. I'm just going fishing, and I'm going to be trying to vlog all that I can when I do stuff like that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get the notifications when my videos are posted, and I'll see you in the next one.